Indiana Fever need to be adults in the room and sit Caitlin Clark until healthy. Indianapolis, the fury at the refs and opposing WNBA players was misplaced. You want to be mad at someone for jeopardizing Caitlin Clark's health? Point the finger at her own team, the Indiana Fever. Clark was forced to withdraw from this weekend's All-Star game here because of a groin injury. A groin injury that's different than the one from which she'd returned from on July 9th. It's also a different injury than the quad strain that cost her 5 games earlier in the season. Different, too, from the tightness in her quad that kept Clark out of a preseason game. I am incredibly sad and disappointed to say I can't participate in the three-point contest or the All-Star game. Clark, selected as an All-Star captain along with Napheesa Collier, said in a statement released by the Fever, "I have to rest my body." It's clear she should have done so long before now. After not missing a single game in her 4 years at Iowa and first year in the WNBA, Clark has already missed 11 games this season. Someone needs to explain how a player who has been durable until now keeps getting similar injuries. And that starts with the Fever. Is it possible that Clark's quad injury didn't contribute to her groin injury, and the first groin injury didn't contribute to the second groin injury? Sure, but that's an awful lot of coincidences. More likely, Clark came back too soon and, whether consciously or not, was compensating for one injury, thereby making her susceptible to the next. And that's on the Fever. Clark is, as everyone knows, hyper-competitive. She was no doubt lobbying the Fever's medical staff and coach Stephanie White to let her back on the court as soon as possible. Younger athletes, heck, all young people, also often think they're invincible, and the 23-year-old Clark might have believed she was ready to return. But injured athletes often need to be saved from themselves, particularly with injuries that can seem healed when they're not. Anyone who's watched Clark play since the quad injury could see something was off. She played well in the first 2 games back, and then began struggling. Her scoring is down, as is her completion rate. Most notably, she's just 7 of 49 from three-point range in her last 7 games, including 2 0-fers. After a career of being the human version of a Pop-A-Shot, she suddenly became average. That's not just somebody who's trying to get their timing back. Something was off, and someone should have stepped in to get her off the floor. Again, Clark no doubt wants to play and probably feels as if she's invincible. We've all been there. Clark also knows people often pay a lot of money to watch her play, not sit the bench, and her presence on the floor translates into ratings. She can see every day just how much hosting the All-Star game means to both the Fever and Indianapolis. But that's where Fever officials needed to be the adults in the room. The only consideration these last 2 months needed to be Clark's health and well-being. And if that means disappointing fans or broadcast partners or sponsors or even Clark herself, so be it. Clark is the biggest star the WNBA has. Not its only one, but its biggest one. And everyone needs to be thinking about the long game here. Getting Clark back for a couple of games only to have her miss twice, as many more, because she's aggravated an injury or gotten a new one is counterproductive. For everyone, White has had no problem calling out refs who she believes aren't doing enough to protect Clark. But the Fever need to be protecting her, too. And they've been falling short. Indiana Fever need to be adults in the room and sit Caitlin Clark until healthy. In the world of professional sports, the line between courage and recklessness is often blurry. Grit and determination are celebrated, especially when athletes push through pain, defy odds, and carry their teams on battered shoulders. But sometimes, the toughest decision is not about playing through pain. It's about sitting out. And for the Indiana Fever, that moment has arrived with Caitlin Clark. Clark is not just a basketball player. She's a phenomenon, a ticket seller, a walking highlight reel, and the most electrifying rookie the WNBA has seen in decades. Her transition from Iowa to the pros was accompanied by historic media coverage, unprecedented jersey sales, and a seismic shift in attention toward the WNBA. Her arrival was supposed to be a renaissance, but as her rookie season grinds into its midsummer heart, the signs are clear. Caitlin Clark isn't at 100%, and it's time for the Indiana Fever to make the adult decision. Sit her down until she's healthy. The weight of stardom on a rookie's frame. Since her very first tip-off in a Fever jersey, Clark has carried the weight of a franchise. She's played heavy minutes, taken punishing hits, and navigated intense scrutiny. Every step she takes on the court is under a microscope. Every missed shot becomes a debate. Every hard foul becomes a viral clip. The physical toll is obvious, the emotional toll, even more so. Clark has never asked for special treatment. She's tough, competitive, and relentless. But this isn't college anymore. The WNBA is faster, stronger, more physical, and she's getting hammered on screens, hip-checked on drives, and sent to the floor nightly. While her stats still impress, leading rookies in points, assists, and often heart, the spark in her step has noticeably dulled. Her body language speaks in whispers, fatigue, frustration, pain. The most telling sign? She's not attacking the rim with the same ferocity. Her usual bounce, her spring, her instinctive reaction time, has been replaced with a split-second hesitation. That's not just a bad night. That's a body telling you it's running low on fuel. The fear of letting down fans. Part of the reason the fever hasn't sat Clark yet may be fear. Fear of disappointing the sellout crowds. Fear of breaking the momentum. Fear of letting down the millions who tune in just to see her shoot from the logo. But that's precisely why they must act. This isn't about one game. It's about preserving a career. One that, if cared for properly, could span over a decade and rewrite every scoring record in the books. The greatest betrayal would not be resting Clark for a week or two. The real betrayal would be playing her until something snaps, until a minor injury becomes chronic, until the rookie campaign becomes a cautionary tale. History's loud whisper. If the fever needs a reminder of what can happen when young stars are overused, they don't have to look far. Candace Parker's early injuries, Elena Del Don's battles with her back, Maya Moore, who left the game in her prime. All icons. All paid the price of physical wear and tear. Even Sabrina Ionescu, once billed as the savior of the Liberty, had her rookie year derailed by injury. The league waited patiently for her return, because they understood that preservation breeds longevity. Clark deserves that same patience. She has nothing left to prove this season. Her debut alone changed the trajectory of the WNBA. What she needs now isn't another stat line, it's rest.